line. Okay. Sorry for everybody out there that's been trying. We were having some technical difficulties on the back end, and we will be going up here shortly. Trying to get DroneTek on the line, and then we're going to go live. So give it, watch this little promo video, Ski, and we should be going live here in a few minutes. There's nobody actually watching. Myself. DroneTek is on, but we, I guess we got 4 people watching. It doesn't show up on the other ones. So we'll be going live here shortly, guys. Just hang tight. I got to get DroneTek on the line. You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to hang up on you, Rational. I'm just going to call you right back. We're going to just go with the automatic window dealio. I was calling you right back. I don't get. Oh, there you are. It always is weird, dude. Okay, cool. There you are. Where's DroneTek at, man? Can you hit him up on the Discord for me? Or is that too tough for you? You and that damn mask, I swear. That's so great. Yeah, center her up a little bit. Can you see yourself all right there? A little bit. Yeah, there we go. Okay. Can you hear me? Rational? Rational.
That doesn't sound like a very democratic.
Rational. 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 Rational.
So if you believe in freedom of speech and the Constitution and the Bill of Rights, you are on that side. Now, the Democrats months ago were saying there was no crisis at the border. Now read the headlines. There's a crisis at the border. Anyway.
I can't hear you, Rat. Where you at? Oh, man. Oh, man.
Fire in Dayton, Ohio, killing 9 people. The city's Oregon district. Popular downtown. Right. You freaking conservative tweets. So there's this sweet little article. Says campus police. Pretty interesting that we can compare these 2 different shootings because they happen so closely. 2 minutes and 30 seconds. So here we go. Right, which helped, as she's going to mention here, black and brown people. So we won't get into that either. But I'd like to just make that note that that's just. Our Justice Warriors, Ding Dongs, or Peanuts, or what have you. Apparently, Snapchat's new gender swap filter is causing problems for the social justice warriors. Snapchat's bothering the warriors. An anarchist, right? He's this anarchist.
Hello, you hearing me now?
There, I can hear you. All right, fine. All right, let me get this set up. We're just going to go. He can get in here when he wants to.
I went to Bible college. I got degrees in theology. I know religion, but the other one who just killed a couple more people is also out there. He was a white supremacist, right? He's in
Rather unnecessarily painful. Wonder why that happened.
I don't know, man. We can't ever have it without something.
Transracial transgenderism and the similarities I see between
There it is. Okay. All right, guys. Well, we have got Rat in here with us, and we are going to go in about. This one won't even play all the way back through.
sex offender, a child sex offender, dressed up like a girl, you know. That was probably not the best thing we could do, and we're sorry. That was great. They nailed it.
Okay, 1 second.
Soy molecular is 110% organic, non-GMO.
Behind the camera? No, you're still in front of
And there's no need for anyone to think that is unacceptable. We're going to shut them down and work with whoever it is to shut them down, and they should be prosecuted. You cannot intimidate
Okay,
members of Congress.
and then, everybody listening out there, we're just getting a couple final little touches done, and I promise you we're going here quickly. I was going to do all this beforehand, but then we had... What the hell happened
Got a lot of little glitches. I have not been eaten by a dingo, mate.
You have not been eaten by a dingo. Oh,
No.
is that a chat? I'm not even...
Yeah, that's a chat. Yeah.
Good. All right. So yeah, we're going to be going in just 1 second. I got a couple more things to do here, guys, with getting Rational all lined up in his cameras. We had a few technical difficulties. Go figure. I know that's weird, right? Even though DroneTek not here yet, I have faith he will show up because he's not going to leave us hanging like that. He wants to be with us, I'm sure. He's probably changing a diaper right now, which is
Yeah, so I'm sure there'll be something that's
plight
happening.
of him. Okay, so I think that's it. Oh, your segment view too. I should have probably put you on those too because you weren't on those. All of this, like I said, I had all very good intentions to have this ready before. And you know what they say about good intentions, right?
Yes.
They,
Technology.
it's a bitch,
Technology.
dude. It really is.
Yeah.
It's an a-hole. Technology
Yeah, I don't like it.
is an a-hole. And it's funny because I was like, man, I took the time to get everything all dialed in last night. I'm just going to have a smooth stream. And we are going to have a smooth stream. This is going to go smoother than last time.
Yeah.
But I planned on getting on here early with you guys, and then so we could work through the glitches, shall we say, and then it just never's enough time. I think we're gonna have to start setting this up with you guys that want to come on half an hour beforehand. You guys need to be ready to go like a half hour beforehand. Not that you weren't here and ready, but.
Yeah, well, even like 10 or 15 minutes. like half an hour for me can be difficult early in the morning.
No.
But
If you're gonna do this, you're gonna commit. Okay. Just kidding.
okay, yeah, fair enough, mate.
No, I'm just totally kidding. That's me just being.
Just you doing the Aussie thing and insulting your mates.
That's right. That is.
I like it, dude.
I know. I've been practicing on that. So.
Yeah, we just gotta work on your Aussie accent, though.
I wanted to check my mean time. Also, I gotta do that one here. So jump in. It's ready to go. Almost done. I know I keep saying that, but I'm just rearranging some camera stuff on the back end. It's gonna be good though. I got some really funny memes I'm excited to go over today. I got some good ones that I got all set up ahead of time, and in fact, I should probably check those. Okay, yeah. Camera.
So I don't know how you. I just want to say something to the chat.
Yeah.
I don't know how to pronounce your name there, JX, but you're not surprised that I sound a bit like Crocodile Dundee? That's not a knife.
Rats on off.
Yeah, I sound like an Aussie, mate.
Okay.
We all sound the same. Not like you Americans where you have all these different weird accents.
I'm almost ready. I had all this shit ready to go, bro. You don't even know. You don't even know, man. You don't even know.
No, we can tell that you're organised, mate.
Right, yeah. This is true. It's funny.
Pretty interesting that we can compare different shooting.
Okay, hang on here. Where's the pop-out check? Here we go.
Which helps.
Okay, yeah, so I'm going to pop that chat out on certain spots, and maybe I'll fix you later when we do that. But I'm going to close the chat out now. There you are right there. Okay, woo! And we're just going to have to, hopefully, can everybody hear me out there? I feel like I'm distorting on my end. Check. Turn myself off. Check one, check one, check one.
Not distorting for me.
Not, is it good and clean? We sound normal here in the USA. What's up, Mark B? How are you, man? So glad to have you. So glad to have everybody. Okay, so
What happened?
I think apparently Snapchat good. We got swapped to about the normal amount at this point.
Yep.
Okay, so there, cool. We're gonna start there. All right, here we go. Intro.
An anarchist, right?
What's going on, everybody? SJG perspective. Where's that fuzziness coming from? I don't care right now. Welcome back, man. We are missing DroneTek right now. Hopefully, he is going to get in here sooner rather than later. But we have a good show lined up for you tonight. We had a few technical difficulties as per par of the course, right? As it goes around here, it seems like. But we got Rational on tonight. Say hello, Rational. They can't see you yet, but say hello.
Hey, g'day, guys. How's it going?
I guess you've already been talking to them. They already know that. We are trying out a new background tonight. Give me your thoughts in the comments. And as long as they're positive thoughts, and I don't have to say screw you. But I kind of like the new look. I'm going to try it for a while. And without further ado, I thought we would do a real quick while I get my whiskey. I thought for those of you who missed last week, what we could do is we could do a little recap. Now, Rational, you won't be able to hear it unless you, get to mute your mic and then turn the volume up on your thing. But anyways, there's a bug there. But anyways, I thought we'd do a little recap. We're going to cover some different things tonight that should be fun. And which I didn't even get those. I didn't even get some of those ready yet. So maybe I'll get some of those ready while we're doing this recap. Recap will take about 5 minutes. It's funny stuff though. So I cut down I cut out the funniest stuff out of the last week's stream. It was pretty good. So here we go. We'll be back in 5 minutes, or when this is done.
Blurry. I can't see it.
Okay, well,
yeah, that's so blurry I can't read it.
Okay, here, I'll do this one. I'll do one of the bigger ones for you to do.
Yeah.
This one says, that awkward moment your kid draws a picture of himself washing his hands in the bathroom sink.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, see, it's dead. Who gives a crap? Who gives a shit about whistleblowers anymore? We have the flipping transcripts. You know, why is that even a thing anymore?
Well, first of all, the whistleblowers I think are irrelevant at this point. When was the last time you really heard anything about them?
Yeah.
And I know the whistleblowers just talking about information they got second or third hand anyway. Like they weren't actually there when the phone call was taking place. So, like, the whole thing is, I mean, it's just the usual sort of farcical, democratic, desperate attempt to take Trump down. And I'm starting to wonder whether it's got something to do with the fact that Bill Barr is now looking at whether there was criminal aspects involved with the initial Russian investigation where they tried to take Trump down.
Listener in here that could talk about something like this. You know? What? Is that Muhammad Aloha Snack Bar?
Bibi, what is going on, my friend, please?
How are you doing?
I am okay, my friend. You are talking about oil, yes?
Yes, we are, actually.
Oh, very good. I like this oil. It's good stuff, Habibi.
Being that, you know, you are in the heart of the deep state. You control them.
I did vote for Hillary Clinton.
You voted for Hillary?
Yes.
Your vote doesn't weigh that
I
much.
like the way she climbed and she saw. And she killed him.
Yes, this you and Allah, I know this. Yes, I knew it. You're feeling very coy today, Satan, my friend.
Sorry, guys, there's dogs.
Yes.
What's Satan?
Kobe.
Comey.
The brand Kobe.
Brad Kobe?
I'm just laughing at the picture of the kid washing his hands in the sink.
You
By the way,
That was gold.
are you a reincarnation of Arnold Schwarzenegger? You sound like you have a little Arnold Schwarzenegger.
And
Yes.
I just decided to start doing Arnold Schwarzenegger demon.
Please, can you please say get to the chopper? Everybody get down. Everybody get down.
Come on, man, you got what you want. Give these people air. Well, I hope you leave enough room for my fist because I'm going to ram it into your stomach and break the goddamn spine.
Do the goats like it too when you say relations?
Yes,
I'm not hearing anything
yes,
wrong.
they do actually.
That
You
helps
kind
you.
of just
There's
slather
no
it
fuss
on
here.
and lick it right off. I swear to you, my friend, it's great.
Is it better than peanut butter? Is what you're telling me?
Yes, it's not nearly as sticky.
What they literally in this freaking topic said how the right weaponized a 7-year-old trans child.
God.
The right weaponizing. We are such evil fucking bigots. We're weaponizing the 7-year-old trans child. The
It's
trans
so fucking Orwellian, dude.
dude. It is insane.
Did this come out before the dad released the footage of his son when he was a 3-year-old, saying that his mum was calling him a girl and putting him in dresses and making him wear the nail polish and stuff
Right.
like that?
Because he liked Frozen.
Yeah, because he likes Frozen. And because he has a mom and dad who are obviously fighting in an ugly divorce, and he has a completely total borderline personality, controlling ass mom who is sucked up in this whole ideology and this whole
ideology.
you know, deal that is like, I don't even know the word I'm looking for right there because they get so fired up on this. About trying to be the you know, progressive, awoke, you know, accepting, all-encompassing, loving of the trans world and all this other stuff. And that's fine.
It's a dopamine rush, ultimately. they're
Yeah,
going
right.
for.
And it's all it is for parents also to parade their kids around and be like for attention. And I will reiterate, if you are an adult and you want to be trans, more power to you. I got no issue or problem with you. If you're an adult person and you're gay, I got no problems with it. If you're a late teen gay, right, and you've really made that decision, that's totally your decision, fine. But when we're talking about trying to that we can apply to adolescent children and children of small 7, that you're trans and you're going to have actual irreversible
Oh, there's 6 watching.
chemical castration done
I
to
know,
you,
I
and
know.
parents and adults and counselors and all these other bullshit
Which is fine.
It'll go.
are going to say
Yeah,
it's a
we'll
good
go.
thing and
You're
try
really
to label
loud.
it as
You
a
need
good
to turn
thing.
down
You're
a little
effed up in the head. You're totally a disgusting piece of shit
Yeah.
human being. And you should have no voice.
Turning down just means moving the mic. I don't know how to adjust the volume here, so how's that? Is that better?
No, not really.
And find out what dysphoria is all messed up in your own.
You don't have a mixer on there where you can
Yeah,
turn it down a little
absolutely.
bit?
No. Is that better?
That's a little better, yeah.
Okay.
I cannot get over when I watch this part right here. How much in those pants it really does look like.
I think I just saw his dick. Yeah.
Oh, that's a dick! That is a dick, dude! I couldn't believe that. Right. That's so funny. DroneTek's like, I think I just saw a dick. I think I just saw a dick. Oh, that's a dick! That's totally a dick.
Yeah. It certainly looks like one, that's for sure.
Yeah, man. Later.
Guys. Yeah. Okay. So, previously on that one. All right, guys. Back into it. We're live again. That was a little recap, maybe longer than it should have been, but we are back with you live now. Rational's with you guys. Let's kick this thing off with a few memes to get us all laughing and having a good time before we jump into everything else. So I thought this meme here was hilarious, and I thought I'd read it out to you guys. We're going to have a lot of this tonight on these memes because it's something that I just thought was funny. But let me read it out to you. It goes, Juliet, Echo, Foxtrot, Foxtrot, Romeo, Echo, Yankee, Echo, Papa, Sierra, Tango, Echo, India, November, Delta, India, Delta, November, Oscar, Tango, Kilo, India, Lima, Lima, Hotel, India, Mike, Sierra, Echo, Lima, Foxtrot. Translation, Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself. Oh, that's funny to me. Okay. Here's another one. Can you see this one now? Can you see these, Rat?
Yeah, I can't see the bottom of it, but I can say I think this girl slept with Tiger Woods and Jay-Z.
Look at that, dude. That is so hilarious. Totally looks like Jay-Z. Totally looks like Tiger Woods. Oh, that was good times right there. When you fight through all the femicists, not femicists. When you fight through all the feminists and you have to face the final boss. I thought DroneTek would really appreciate that, being that he's Mr. Video Game Guy and everything, right? He's nowhere to be found. You're missing out.
No one in their sane mind would appreciate that image, man. That's just horrific.
I know. DroneTek, you're missing out, dude. I hope you join this call, you dirty bastard. Okay, next one. Let me know if you can read it. You can take it. Oh, no, this one's going to be too small for you. I'll read this one. The fuzzy orange star in Orion's sword isn't a star. It's the Orion Nebula, and it's the only nebula visible from Earth with the naked eye. It is so huge that if the distance from the Earth to the Sun was 1 inch, the Orion Nebula would be over 12 miles wide. And Epstein did not kill himself. Oh.
Yep.
Okay, can you read that one, Rat?
I have seen 15,406,341 different realities. Is the one where Epstein didn't kill himself? Lol, no.
You see the theme developing now today.
I'm not.
There is no damn way. We'll talk more about this when we're done with the meme times here, but there is no way, man, that dude killed himself. There's just no way. And I mean, I know it keeps getting brushed under the rug, like the thing my OBS studio disconnected. Anyways, what I was saying is that ever since the doctor came out and was talking about how it again, this last week, it was refreshened up how he said this is not consistent with suicide. Well, duh, we already knew that. I mean, that goes without saying, but it's so interesting how it doesn't really dominate any of the headlines, and all the most of the people, especially I read the thing on Vox. Vox didn't mention anything about the suspiciousness of his death. They just kept trying to throw Trump in there, how Trump and Clinton were his friend. Mostly Trump. It was hilarious. But anyways, moving on. This isn't discussion. This is meme time. Okay, so this song I will read for you because you guys won't be able to read it. But this is going to probably be a new parody song of mine. It goes, the transgender song, if you're happy and you know it, clap your hands. If a person has a penis, he's a man. If a person has a penis, he's a man. If he doesn't want to lose it, even though he doesn't use it. If a person has a penis, he's a man. Everybody, if a person has a nutsack, he's a man. If a person has a nutsack, he's a man. He can tuck it and conceal it, let it dangle and reveal it. If a person has a nutsack, he's a man. If he amputates his bits, he's still a man. If he grows a pair of tits, he's still a man. If the chromosome is Y, he will always be a guy. If he isn't born a woman, he's a man.
That's brilliant.
That is really, really well done. Well done. Okay, can you read this one? Or is that too small?
No, I can read the one. When you're the first cop in the stack to conduct a red flag confiscation at a Vietnam vet's house, and you hear Fortunate Son blasting from inside.
Oh, so true, Beto O'Rourke. Come knocking on our door and see what happens. Okay.
Oh, poor Beta. Isn't that sad that he had to drop out of
No, not even almost that. Okay, so this one says, here's the church, here's the steeple. Epstein was killed by rich pedophile people. Oh, I like that one too. Okay, this one for you.
Okay, these kids think I'm handing out candy for Halloween, but really it's just 13 gigabytes of evidence that Jeffrey Epstein did not kill himself.
This is awesome. I love this one. I wish we had I wish we had Aloha Snack Bar on for this one. Do you guys hear a dog barking, or is it just me? Oh, that's a good one too. All right. You want to take that one? Go.
Okay, for Halloween, I'm dressing up as someone who testified against the Clintons.
Oh,
brilliant.
Never stops. 2016. Schumer and Pelosi warn us that Trump will start multiple wars. 2019. Furious that Trump is ending multiple wars. Oh, so true.
That one's more true than funny.
I know, it is. Of course, it kind of seems like he's backtracking on it a little bit, but maybe we can talk about that in a little bit.
Yep.
Okay, take that one, my friend, if you can read it.
Okay. The neighborhood children soon came to realize that trick-or-treating at the Sanders house would cost them 70% of all the candy that they earned.
I like that one.
Yeah, that's good.
Only 90s kids will remember this. Select gender, male or female. Okay.
Gone are the days, eh?
Yeah, you can go on this one.
Okay, California raises the price of gas to get people to buy electric cars. Then they shut off the power.
So true. And you know, on that whole thing too, maybe we'll touch on this later. Everyone's outraged at we're trying to blame all these wildfires and everything on climate change. And here's the thing about this. California and and their left-wing and tree-hung and Birkenstock wearing hippies in government all said we can't clear cut the forest. And I think I have a meme that says it too. We can't clear cut the forest, and we can't clear out the brush. We can't kill the spotted owl. Meanwhile, we'll just shut off the power when there's a spark. All this non-cleared out stuff catches on fire. And then also, where did the billions of dollars go to all the upgrades that they were going to make to the electrical system so that these weren't happening? Government's always got your back, guys. They're always going to take care of you. Big government.
Just on that, can I just say something? There was a similar situation here in Australia, and I think it was in Victoria, where the Greens, the people who live in the inner cities and know nothing about the bush, said, we have to stop people from clearing, we have to stop people from cutting down trees, and we have to, look after the rabbits and the wombats and the whatever else, which is all well and good, I guess.
Right.
But then we had a couple of fires, and they killed about 200 and something people because there was just all of this dry fodder laying on the ground for the fires, and so it just went absolutely berserk. I mean, you never let people in the city dictate what people in the country do.
Yeah.
Sure. Well, not unless you want lots and lots of people to die, anyway.
Right. Yeah, this is the one I just kind of mentioned on what Rat was just talking about. It says, liberals, no clear cutting, no removal of fallen trees. We vote to keep California natural. Mother Nature. Don't worry, I got your natural right here.
Yep.
Oh God, dude, it's so true. Okay, I think that might have been the last one. I think that was the last one of... All right. So, there you are, my friend. You are back on the screen. We are live together. So, how has it been? You need to move yourself to the right, or I can maybe move you to the right a little bit. Are you there?
Yeah, mate.
Okay, cool. Let me see if I can move you to the right a little bit there. There we go.
If I move any further to the right, I'll be...
Yeah, I'll get you centered up.
I'll get this pinochet or something.
I'll get you centered up. Right, quick like. Anyway, man, so it's kind of disappointing. I don't know where old DroneTek is. He said he was going to be on, and he's not here. It'd be fun to have another voice in the chat, but I could always call him and just should we call? Let's call DroneTek right now. How about that?
Yeah, give him a call.
I'm going to give him a call. I'm going to give him a call the old natural way here. DroneTek, there he is right there. Let me give him a call, and we'll just talk to him live. We'll talk to him live.
Not a problem.
We'll just say, what's going on, Mr. DroneTek? We miss you. You changing diapers right now? What's going on? He may not answer. Let's see if he answers. No, still ringing. Still ringing. Still ring-a-ling-a-dinging.
Yeah, it's one of the joys of having young kids, I suppose, isn't it?
Yeah.
Sometimes things happen.
Oh, no. Yep. We'll leave him a message. See if it beeps. Hey, Drone, just calling to say we miss you here on the live stream and hoping I sent you over the link, hoping you'll join us. We love you and we miss you. All right. Probably changing poopy diapers right now. We get it. But we wanted to leave you this little voice message. So hopefully you get in here. All right. Bye. All right. So, yeah, I don't know. Went to voicemail. What are you going to do? So, I thought we could talk about this one, Rat, a little bit. Can you see that on your screen okay? Rational?
Yes.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. I'm a little bit behind you there, right? So it says, trans dad continues legal battle to be registered as father on child's birth certificate. This, to me, I don't even know what to think or say about this. But why don't we read the article, and then when you want to jump in there and say something, you just tell me you got a thought here. But let's just jump in and read this. It says, a transgender man who gave birth but does not want to be described as a mother on a birth certificate is continuing his legal battle. Well, here's the thing. Just like our little song is, if he gave birth, no male can give birth to a baby. They don't have the right parts. And that would hurt like a mofo to have that thing come out your you know what. I mean, you'd have to have a C-section even if it was possible, but it's not possible. So you are a woman who is pretending with your whatever reason. I'm not tearing this person down, saying they obviously have a lot of mental dysphoria, gender dysphoria issues and so on and so forth. So I'm not trying to tear them down. But for you then to go and sue and go to court to try to be called the father when you have ovaries and a uterus is insanity. And we need to call it out as insanity and not tiptoe around all this stuff anymore. This is ridiculous.
Yep, absolutely. Especially when it starts affecting kids.
Yeah, right. Which we'll get to in one of our other segments here too.
Yep.
We kind of touched on it last week, but we didn't. We started talking so much, I wanted to cover it a little more in depth. Freddie McConnell, 32, wants to be registered as his child's father or parent. However, a judge ruled against his wishes at a high court trial in London last month. Oh, this is over in your neck of the woods. Well, kind of. Now the father of one has been given the go-ahead to take his case to the Court of Appeal after a judge analyzed written submissions and decided McConnell has an arguable case. What arguable case does this guy have? He's not a he, she. It's a she. It looks like a he, though, man. That testosterone replacement's making the hair grow real well. It definitely looks.
Yes. I mean, to me, that's just a bearded lady. And, but see, I'm sorry to say it. And I know, like, it's going to upset some people. But, look, I don't mind. If you want to claim that you're a man and you've got a JJ, that's fine, right? You do that.
Right.
But don't ask me to say that you're a man when I know you have a vajayjay.
Mm-hmm.
Right? Like you can believe whatever you want, and you can live in your own reality.
Well,
but don't impose your reality on me.
Yeah, and here's the thing. I mean, if we were just out having dinner, or I met this person at a dinner party, and I knew they were probably a he, but they were saying, my name is Samantha. And I'll refer to you as Samantha, and I'll say she if it makes you feel better during that time. But you can't tell me that I have to now turn off the cognitive dissonance and reprogram my brain to really think and accept that you actually are a female or vice versa. You are a male or you are a female, and the little tiny 1.001% of the people in the world that are born with both still have tendencies of one way or the other still really is just it's like a person born with 6 fingers, more or less. It's a mutation, but it's not the rule, right? It's not the rule. Just because one person's born with 6 fingers, we don't think that that's the norm, right? That's that's an aberration. So in this scenario,
Well, I think.
Go ahead.
I think the difference is, like if I meet somebody, as you said, you meet somebody out somewhere, and you know that they don't have a gender identity that matches their genitalia. Well, all right, fine. If they're not making an issue of it, then I've been in that situation. I knew somebody who had been a guy who was being a girl.
Right.
And I never ever even thought about referring to her as a he, right? Even though he was a he, right? But if he had actually made a big song and dance out of it and said that we must refer to her as a he and believe that he was a she, then I would just go, no, I'm sorry, mate, I'm just going to call you a he from now on, just because you're being an ass.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like,
yeah. Did you read that article? There was an article when I forgot the person's name, but the same thing. Oh, it was about McKinnon, the bicyclist chick who's been beating everybody's ass and breaking all these records, right? And and then is a total biatch about it to everybody, and is like full on flagrant militant transgender in your face. You better call me a woman. I'm a woman. And she's like, if you are a nice, normal person that isn't trying to shove it down my throat, I have no problem calling you by the whatever pronoun you want to be called by. Fine, I'll do that. But again, like what you're saying is, when you go and force me to try to change my mind literally into actually accepting that you are XY or XX or whatever it is, when you're not, no, I'm sorry, I'm not going to do that. To be a good person, I'm not going to rub in your face when you say you're a he or a she that you're not. But when you try to shove it down my throat, that's where we have a problem. And yes, I am going to stand up for it. And then when it becomes like we're talking about with kids and this major cultural push to where it's everywhere, it's in the movies, it's in the music, it's everywhere being pushed down our throats. No, I'm going to push back on that because I believe that that's important to push back on. Otherwise, it's just this we just allow this brainwashing to take place without any kind of resistance at all.
Yeah, exactly. So we have to, from my perspective anyway, we have to always have that little codicil or that little bracketed sort of parenthesis bit,
right?
The parenthetical bit where we say we will agree to call you by the pronoun of your choice, but we reserve the right to know, and when push comes to shove, to say that you are not the gender that you are claiming to be. You are, in fact, the gender that you are. Right? There is a difference. There is a difference between you being, you claiming to be a female and you being a female. We're happy to call you she if that's going to make you happy.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
But we know that you're a dude, and you know that we know that you're a dude, right? And that's okay. And so if you want to push the issue, then I'm just going to call you a dude. But if you don't, I can be polite with people. I think that that's not an unreasonable step to take. And otherwise we end up, I know this is something we're going to talk about a little bit later on, but you end up with the grouper thing that we've got going on now. But we'll get into that a little bit later. But that's part of the pushback that's happening. And I think that we have to be able to find a middle ground for those of us who are sort of on the conservative and the right and the libertarian thing of not embracing other people's mental illness. We actually have to have ground that we stand on, but we need to be polite at the same time. And I think we're starting to have a cultural war now that we're no longer central players in, because it's going out to extremes.
Right.
So it's an unfortunate thing. But anyway, we'll get to that later.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just had to mention that there because I think that's important.
Yeah, it's so funny. I want to say one comment here. Nick says, McKinnon bragging reminds me of Kramer from Seinfeld celebrating his karate wins over 12-year-olds. That's so true. Modus operandi, it's a hilarious meme of McKinnon on a motorcycle beating the girl cyclist. Yeah, that's what I should have had in there. I'll have that in there for next week. All right, let's read a little more here. At this stage, court officials say no date has been fixed for any appeal hearing, the Mail Online reports. Sir Andrew McFarlane, who is the president of the Family Division of the High Court, ruled against McConnell's wishes in September on the basis that people who give birth are legally mothers, regardless of their gender. Oh, man, it isn't that interesting how now we literally have been so brainwashed to where we think sex and gender are different, because that's what the push of the transgender and this, gender studies and this postmodernism has created, that gender and sex are different. No, they're not different. They're the same thing. We've used that for thousands of years, right? And yes, maybe. So it's not just because we say in the last few years that gender and sex are different that they're different. They're not different. But even here, he goes, regardless of their gender, precisely because of their gender, not regardless of their gender, precisely because of their gender. Jeez.
Yes. Yeah. All that's happened is that the gender role of the male has been lost to some degree because they are no longer the provider and they're no longer the protector of the family, because you've got so many women now can marry the government if that is a choice that they make.
Right.
You know, I think that is fundamentally the thing that's changed. Like if the welfare state was eradicated tomorrow, I absolutely bet you that every single one of those women claiming to be a man would suddenly have the pigtails in and be like, "I'm a girl, help me," you know. They do this because they can. I honestly think that. You know, I honestly think that is what it is.
Yeah.
You know, people take this stuff on because, you know, life has become meaningless. It's relatively hedonistic, and so it's just easy to adopt these different personas to try to give your life a little bit of validation and meaning.
Yeah.
That it doesn't actually have. But you know, like I'm sure that people in Africa and in Asia who are struggling just to get their daily bread are not really worried about, you know, what imaginary gender they want to call themselves today. They're probably more worried about getting food for their family.
Yeah.
Now, this is a first world thing. It really is.
Yeah, it is. We got nothing else to worry about, so now we just pretend all these other things, you know, the outrage, the outrage at what's given us everything to be the first world country, and then we make up all this other crap. Lawyer and founder of a city law firm, Karen Holden, represented McConnell and said she was disappointed with the result. I'm sure she was. She said the ruling showed how the law was slow to keep up with modern society. Why do we need to keep up with modern society with the law when modern society is saying the most ridiculous, brain-dead, absolutely unfactual, crazy upside down world? Why do laws have to keep up with that? Why can't the law keep up with common damn sense? Why is that? Why can't the law cohabitate with common sense anymore? Why is that such the abnormality that the law is acquiescing? Acquiescing, is that right? Yeah, I think
acquiescing.
Acquiescing. Thank you. Yeah, exactly. Oh, man. McConnell, who works as a journalist for The Guardian, was biologically able to get, of course she does. Of course, I'm not even going to call her a she on this one because it's so ridiculous. Of course she does. Right, yeah. McConnell, who works as a journalist for The Guardian, was biologically able to get pregnant and give birth, but had already legally become a man when the child was born. Legally, don't give a crap. She has a vajayjay and a uterus, man. And she has, you know, she has fallopian tubes, and she has... it just blows my mind.
Just thinking about it just kind of reminded me of something. I've actually come to the conclusion that I must be gay because I think Lauren Southern is unbelievably attractive, and she's legally a man. She did it for a joke. Lauren Southern.
Oh yeah,
the
right.
Canadian girl. You know, have you seen her? Very pretty girl. She doesn't.
She legally completely really did change her gender for a joke.
Yeah. She did it for a joke. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah.
Is that the one that DroneTek talked to, or no? That's the other.
No. Different girl. No, she's sort of got off YouTube now, but she was big there for a while.
I know who she is. I do know who she is. The registrar told him that the law required people who gave birth to be registered as mothers. Go figure. That's stupid law. He then took legal action against the General Register Office, where birth and deaths are registered in England and Wales. In his ruling, Sir Andrew said, there is a material difference between a person's gender and their status as a parent. Being a mother, whilst hereto always associated with being female, because it is.
Is part of the job description.
Yeah. Is the status afforded to a person who undergoes a physical and biological process of carrying a pregnancy and giving birth, right? You're the mother. That's how that works. It is now medically and legally possible for an individual whose gender is recognized in law as male to become pregnant and give birth to their child. You still are a female. That's the thing. Why would anyone share their experience of pregnancy and birth alone? Why would anyone share their experience of pregnancy and birth, let alone a trans man? Oh God, this is so.
I think maybe the way around this is we just sort of completely eliminate gender, and we go from male and female to innie and outie.
Yeah,
just do away with gender. You know, are you an innie or an outie? It doesn't matter what you call yourself then.
Real quick.
Oh, so I think SJG must be on a call with DroneTek. Have a look at what people are saying. No, yeah, to JX. Sorry, you're going to have to tell me how to pronounce that name, man. But yes, hurting people's fifis is now verboten, and I'm not really sure why. You know, sometimes people need to have their feelings hurt. You know, it's just a basic part of growing up. I would have thought. You know, like you don't say to a kid, or you know, you don't not tell them off for sort of running at a fire because you don't want to hurt their feelings. You kind of tell them that this is a bad thing to be doing and it's going to be worse for you if you do this than if you feel bad about being told off for doing something wrong.
Yeah.
But we've completely lost that concept now.
Mm-hmm.
You know, we've hyper pampered our kids to the point where they no longer can understand the difference between good and bad, even in terms of feelings. You know, like
Right.
I remember I went to in Australia we vote in schools in a lot of places, and I went into a school, into a primary school to vote a few years back, and I saw these posters around the walls telling these little kids that they could trust their feelings.
Right.
And I looked at these posters and I thought, this is the most horrific thing that I've probably ever seen. I've never seen Orwellianism getting rammed down the throats of people to that degree. And I would never have allowed a kid to go to that school. And I spoke to a primary school teacher, and it was actually quite a common thing that was being taught. Kids were being told that they need to prioritize their feelings over fact. Right? That's an horrific thing to be telling.
Yeah.
Well, anybody, but especially a young kid.
Right. No, I mean
it's insanity.
It's totally
How
insanity.
we ended up here.
No, and there was this article here. It says Texas school district mandates transgender education for 8-year-olds.
Oh yeah, yes.
Can you believe this? A Texas
Yeah,
school
I can,
district,
sadly.
yeah, a Texas school district board has unanimously approved a proposal to introduce transgender education for children as young as 8 years old. Tell me this isn't an agenda to absolutely confuse and tear at the very moral fibers and what we understand as right and wrong, up and down, black and white in this world. This kind of this LGBTQ agenda that's being pushed. It isn't like, hey, we want equal rights. I'm all for giving you equal rights. I'm all for equal rights to gays and lesbians and transgender people. They want special rights. They want to be elevated. They want to completely tear down at the moral fiber of everything we've ever held dear and true and common in our lives, in our world, in our society. It's just, I don't want anybody teaching my 8-year-old about sex at all, let alone transgenderism, let alone that. That is not your place, school, to be teaching them about sex of any way, shape, or form until they're way into their teens, in my opinion. That's something that's for a mom and a dad at home to talk to their kids about and to give them their moral compass on. Not for the damn school that is completely and crazy leftist, infiltrated and programmed and pushed. It is no way in shape or form should you be able to tell my kids anything to do about sex, in my opinion.
No, absolutely not. Children shouldn't be learning about sex until they're getting to the point of their lives where sex is going to be an issue. Like,
right.
You know, when I was a kid, I mean, I grew up in a world that didn't have the internet, right? I grew up on farms, so I got to see, you know, mummy animal and daddy animal sort of, you know, doing what mummy and daddy animal do to become mummy and daddy animal. And
what is that? What do they do?
They have fun. But
do they have fun, or is it work to them? I wonder if it's fun or if it's work. If they're just like,
I don't know, man. It looked like a bit of fun. I'm not sure. I don't know. I wasn't a part of it, man. I was an observer.
That worries me. You think that looks fun? You're worrying me. You're like, hey, it looked fun to me, man. That sheep on sheep action was looking pretty good.
I have to clarify here. It wasn't fun for me, dude. I was just the observer of the act that was taking place. I had a point I was going to make, and I've forgotten it now. I remember what it was, and it never actually even dawned on me that was anything. You know, like it made no, like it had no impact on me because I wasn't a sexual being. Sex meant nothing to me.
Right.
Kids don't need to be getting introduced to the idea of sex until they're at an age where being introduced to the idea of sex is relevant to them, right? Yeah. If you're doing it before that, you're just giving them something that has basically got no context, and you're just opening up for that to become a manipulated thing, which is easily screwed up in the mind of a child. You know, look, we develop a particular way for a particular reason. Right? I don't think it's ever been the case that, you know, in the history of humanity, where people have sat down with their 5-year-old and said, now here's the proper way to insert that carrot up your bottom. That's just not what we've ever done.
Right.
You know, and there's a reason for that, because we had to eat that. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like, it's insane. Absolute.
It is insane. It's absolute and total craziness, and that is the world we are now part of, which is sad but true.
Yep.
Let's read this article, and then we'll take a quick break. It says, the Austin Independent School District rubber stamped the new curriculum, which will, for the first time, will see students talk about gender identity and sexual orientation. The curriculum is being described as controversial. You think? Jeez. Given that it will teach children as young as 8 years old about, get this, gay, anal sex, and transgender identities. Wow, nothing like sexualizing our kids, man. Nothing like sexualizing our kids. Two groups, just like the story hour with the drag queen story hours and all that, and the most recent one I think we were going to touch on it last week. We didn't, but the man, one of those transgender accidentally, air quotes, accidentally flashing his man bits to the kids right in front of him. That wasn't no accident. That's a bunch of bullshit. This is designed to sexualize our kids, man. It's the takedown. It's the step closer to normalizing pedophilia. It's the step closer to normalizing and sexualizing relationships with kids and opening and taking them. It's absolutely abhorrent and insane to me that we think this is okay. It says,
I'm quite old, and I've been out in public a lot, and I can honestly say that there has never been a situation that I've been in where my wang has put in a surprise guest appearance.
Right.
Like, it just doesn't happen. Right? If my wang is out, it's because I want it to be out. You know, it's not like, oh, how the hell did that happen? You know, I've never had that experience ever.
Two groups held.
Hey, Gator, how you going, dude?
Hey, is DroneTek in?
No, Gator. Just saw Gator.
Oh, you just saw Gator. Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, he's popped up in the chat there.
Gator! What up, my friend? It's been a while. It's been a minute. Let me finish just reading this article. It says the curriculum is being described as, I already read that. Two groups held dueling rallies outside the school district headquarters, including Informed Parents of Austin, a group who seeks to prevent bullying and enforce equality within the school district. Oh, look who just joined in, it looks like. Just got out of the car just got out to car heading home. Okay, so DroneTek will be with us in a minute here, it looks like. I'm going to send him back a message real quick like. Cool. So you will be in here in a while then? ? That was a terrible sentence.
Yeah, good, mate. Gator, just answering your question there. Yep. It's all
Good,
going
man.
good here.
I can't see the chats right now, so I'm relying on you, Rat, to kind of monitor the chats, and if someone has a question, shout it out, because I can't do both right now. I got to get a setup where I can do that. So, anyways, it says the usual answer to this kind of story is homeschool your kids, but similar things are being inserted into homeschooling curriculums too. Over in the UK, efforts to introduce similar LGBT curriculums into schools have been met with fierce protests, almost exclusively from Muslim parents, whereas there are certain things about, the Islamic law and Sharia law that I can get behind. And one of them is we don't teach our kids about, the LGBTQ agenda in school, man. So for that, got to give them props. All right, so we're going to take a quick 60-second timeout here and do by one of our sponsors. And get your video while it's hot. You'll see what I'm talking about. Okay, I got to learn how to mute this. We'll be live here in about 60 seconds.
An audio collection.
I know you can't hear this. I'm talking over it, so don't talk, and either will I for a minute.
Easily offended among us. Experience one of the best collections in conservative parody troll musical media. Direct from SJG Perspective Productions comes the Patriot Parody Troll Leftist Aneurysm-Inducing Collection. Have a laugh with Ice Baby. Or ponder the truth of media lies with Tell Me Lies. You might need to take a shower after listening to Super Creep. Super Creep, Super Creep. No other collection will bring joy and tears of laughter to the ears of the conservatives, while simultaneously bringing tears of frustration and anger to the SJWs and the leftists among us. To receive your collection, like, share, and subscribe to SJG Perspective and receive access to this content and much, much more. Don't wait. It could disappear at any moment. Subscribe today.
Subscribe today, you guys, and get yourself that content and much, much more. I think I'm over here this time. Yeah. Camera left. Camera left. Okay. So, yeah, DroneTek just texted me or messaged me and said that he just got in his car. He was running behind. So, sounds like he'll be in a little while, and that'll be great. Love to have him in here. So what have you been up to, my friend? What's new in the rat world?
No, not a lot, mate. Just basically doing same old same. Just doing what I have to do to survive. And yeah, I mean, I'm not going to say what kind of work that I'm in, but I'm looking at getting out of the field that I'm in. So, I've been basically doing some job applications and working on some new material.
Yeah.
For parodies and that kind of thing, and just doing a little bit of research of what's happening in the world, and especially looking into, as I say, the grouper thing is kind of interesting.
Yeah,
so I'm kind of looking at that.
We don't have to do that. I mean, I know it's up for a segment later, but I don't fully understand what's going on with that whole Groiper thing. I know Nick Fuentes. So here's the thing. Let me tell you about what I know about Nick Fuentes. I have been following and subscribed to Nick Fuentes for a while, and I'll watch his stream on my way home. Not always, but I watch him quite a bit, right? And I always get pissed off at the DA because he says he's starting at 5, and some bitch doesn't ever start till like 5:25. Of course, that's kind of like what happened with us tonight. But he just puts, anyways. I will give him props for a channel with only 40,000 subscribers. That dude gets anywhere from 3 to 4 to 5,000 people per stream on his channel. I mean, he's got a dedicated following to him. I mean, it's pretty impressive on that side of it. Have you ever watched any of his stuff?
I've only ever seen a little bit of him just recently. I hadn't even heard of him before.
Yeah. So here's what I don't get. I recently, before all this Groiper started things and, the Politicon and Charlie Kirk deal, the Turning Point USA, all that stuff happened, I had already been kind of starting to get turned off to him. And, okay. So, yeah, he's saying he'll be in a little bit. I had started to get turned off by him a little bit. Not in a sexual way, because I was never turned on, but just to clarify that. But, he really does come out as like, and I could be wrong on this. So if we have any Nicker Nation guys that follow me, help me understand in the chat what I'm missing here. If there is something I'm missing, because it sure seems like to me that he is like legitimately alt-right. Like he's like full on, we should only have Europeans in America. We should stop immigration completely to any kind of brown people. That's the problem. He's full on, and maybe I'm wrong on that, and I'm willing to be corrected. But he sounds full on, like I'm not into any kind of immigration at all. Do you know much about it, or have you looked much into it yourself?
That's pretty right. They are the inevitable pushback, I think, from two things. One, you've got the people on the right who are basically, moving to the left with the Overton window of the left, who were basically, pushing the narrative. So, you had the example of, Charlie Kirk echoing Nancy Pelosi and Joe Biden in saying that we should just be, stapling a green card to the diploma of immigrants who come to the US and get a diploma so that they can keep them in the US. And he is kind of pointing out, well, what is the difference between where the left is now and where Charlie Kirk and the traditional conservatives are going to be in 3 or 4 or 5 years' time, because all they're doing is just tagging along with the left, just behind the left, which they kind of are.
Yeah.
We're being pushed. The right is moving further and further to the left. And so, and on the other side of it, of course, you've also got all of the numpties in organizations like Antifa, and then you have the spastics in the media who are basically saying that, anybody who doesn't agree with everything that we say is a Nazi and a racist and a fascist and a blah, 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 blah. And so you have these people who are They're obviously that they weren't kind of Nazi type people, but they were just people who thought that there were certain things that are true and certain things that aren't, right? And that they had a particular opinion, but they've been pushed and they've been sort of marginalised by everybody, and they've been getting progressively radicalised. And I've been saying this for years, and I'm not the only one. This was inevitable. That's why I'm watching these guys, because they are inevitable, right?
Yeah.
This was always going to happen. I think that the media knew it, the left knew it. They want this. These are the
want
people.
They want the division. So
Yeah,
that's, I mean,
they're desperate for this, because these are the people who are going to bring in the right wing violent types who are. And when I say
who will
right
then
wing,
justify all the rhetoric that the left says about the right, saying, see, they are these hateful people, racist people that want to do X, Y, and Z. Is that what you're getting at?
Yeah, and the funny thing is that these guys are not really on the right. That a lot of what they do is based on left wing ideas. Like identity politics has got nothing at all to do with the right. Adolf Hitler was never on the right. He was never even close to being right wing. He was into identity politics. He was into social justice. He believed in a privileged race. That dude was as left wing as you can get. Right? These guys that are Fuentes and the Gropers, they are left wing. They may not understand that they're on the left, and they may identify as being on the right, but they are on the left. It doesn't matter what they're actually saying, what they believe they are. They're just playing into the media narrative that they're on the right.
Yeah.
But they're not. Their politics is not right wing.
Yeah. No, that's very. So I just have always, where I was just assuming that Nick was just, kind of like an Owen Benjamin, where he just spoke his mind and he was really just saying it as it was, but he was a conservative guy. But then I've been listening to him the more and more, and like he praises, like there was an Aryan guy that came up with an Aryan patch, and he's like, Aryans, yes, and he was like cheering him on. And then he was like getting mad at Charlie Kirk, which I wouldn't say I support everything Charlie Kirk has to say. And I think there is something to be said about standing up to the transgender movement, or standing up to, some of these things that aren't necessarily really that conservative. But my point is, I think we should have way more limited immigration. I think we should have a set number of people that are allowed to come in every year, and we figure that, and I don't know exactly what that number is, but we figure that number out economically, and we figure that number out logically, and we say, this is how much we can sustain and will help grow the country if we let X amount of people in, be it 500,000, be it 1 million, I don't know what that number is. But we find out what number would be, where we is equitable and would work for our country, and we set it at that number. And then we let the people, you have to come in legally. I think the H1A or H1B1 visas, and these where people are coming in and basically workers here in America are training their replacements, right? I think that should be stopped, because I think that is absolutely effed up. And I think that's the corporate leftist and that's just corporate, money hungry dollar signs people but see that and say, hey, I can pay somebody all this less money and not have to give them benefits and not have to give them any kind of, security or any kind of, really hiring them, I won't have to abide by the same laws as I would have to abide by if I was hiring a citizen. So I'm going to hire these people. I think those laws are absolutely abhorrent and should be destroyed also. But I think that if you're coming in legally and you're assimilating to America and you're assimilating to the Constitution and you're assimilating to our amendment to the Bill of Rights, right? And you believe in those things and you want to be a functioning part of America and you want to pay your taxes and you want to learn the language and you want to, I'm not saying you don't bring your culture with you too, but you want to be part of this country and really not you don't believe in the handouts, you believe in working for what you get and becoming a functional, effective part of the country, then I'm all for a certain amount being allowed in. Now, free reign, open borders, giving benefits to all these illegals, all that shit needs to stop, and we need to just totally cut it off and literally just collect these people that are doing that and get them out of our country and completely. So, but if you were to talk to like Nick Fuentes, he says, no, we should have no immigration. It's the demographic that's the problem. It's demographics. It's the brown people. It's this culture integration that's the problem. And then we should, maybe we should have some immigration from a few European nations, but that's it. And it was like 2 weeks ago I heard him say that, and it really turned me off to him. And I finally was like, oh, you full on are a racist. Like you legitimately are racist. Like you legitimately sound racist. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And
Yeah,
so,
but again, I mean, this guy, he is a pushback against where our culture has been,
hmm
has been heading. So, um, he is, like Donald Trump, for example, was talking about how he's like, we need to have more people coming in than ever before, and it doesn't matter where we get them from. And people like this guy, Fuentes, they're looking at and they're seeing that, and they're seeing the demographic shift that's happening, and that is a real concern. Anybody who knows anything about numbers and can count, is concerned about the demographics because there is no assimilation process or expectation
right,
with people that come from other cultures. So, if
right.
we bring in, like, I'll take Australia as an example, right? If we bring in, 500,000 people a year from the Islamic world and we just allow them to adhere to their Islamic ideas,
Yeah.
it's only going to take about 20 or 30 years until Australia becomes an Islamic country. And I don't want that. I will
Yeah,
fight that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
I will,
But see, that
that's a
goes
hill I will
against.
die on.
But see, that goes against what I'm saying too. It's like, I agree with you on that kind of stuff where you're just letting mass immigration in and you're letting them. They don't have to get citizenship. You're giving them benefits, and that's obviously what the left is doing. They want to let all these people in and just give them all kinds of candy and birthday cake, and just let them do whatever they want to. And then because they know they'll vote, they'll know they'll vote Democratic. I'm
Yeah.
not saying that. I'm saying when you come in, you have to assimilate to our values, to our culture, to our society, which is Sharia law it's not compatible with the Constitution or with the Bill of Rights. It is not compatible with I'd use that as an example, but it is not compatible with the way the Western American way of life. It just isn't, right? So no,
Yeah.
you can't adhere to that. If you want to adhere to that, you can't be here. If you want to enact that and actually get it then into government in certain areas, you can't do that. You can't be here. Sorry, you got to go. To me, that's what I feel. But if you
Yeah.
want to come in and you want to still practice, you want to be a moderate Islam, you want to practice moderately, you want to be a moderate Muslim, you want to practice your religion, you want to pray, you want to do all these things, but you don't believe in these crazy, like would be equivalent to a Christian Old Testament 10 Commandments type of ideology, which people can say, well, what about Christianity? They did a lot of terrible things. Look at the the Crusades and the Inquisition and all these. Yeah, they did. But there's been a revolution in a revolution there's been a change in Christianity too, to where they don't believe in all that old kind of crap where you stone somebody if they're gay, or you crucify these people, or the Levitical law or the old Mosaic law. We don't adhere to that anymore because, according to a lot of Christians and what the faith of the New Testament teaches and what Christ taught is, that's all that was for then. That is not for now. Right now, I'm not saying there can't be things you learn from that or you hold on to from the Old Testament, right? And this is not a Bible study or anything. I don't mean to turn it into that. My point is this. You can be a Christian and you can assimilate to Western values and Western culture and not really have to violate your faith in Christ. If you are a hardcore traditional Muslim or Islamist, you can't. If you think Sharia law is compatible, it isn't. There's no compatibility with Western values and Sharia law.
No. I actually go further and say I don't think there's any compatibility between humanity and Islam. I've studied Islam for years.
Yeah.
And I think it is the worst ideology that a man ever created. And I know that's not the kind of thing that we're allowed to say, but I think people need to say it. We need to be honest about Islam. It has some horrific things in it.
Yes.
But yeah, so this is where, anyway, just getting back to the groupers, this is where they come in, because people like you and I, we're going to be called extreme, and we're going to be called radical, we're going to be called racist, and people are going to try to shut us down because of us having quite legitimate concerns about issues. You see in the UK now where you have a situation where the Islam lobby and the gay lobby are now at loggerheads over the grooming of children in schools that we were just talking about.
Right.
Well, that's the kind of thing that people like me have been saying was inevitable for years, and people have been calling us racist and fascist and yada, yada, yada. Right?
Yeah.
But what we were saying was actually true. It was inevitable that this was going to happen, right?
Yeah.
And this is where the gropers come in, because they are people who have seen that the people like me are not effective in doing what we do. Look, what we're doing is we're trying to have reasonable and rational discussions and point out that 1 + 1 always equals 2 to the people on the left who don't believe in any kind of absolute truths at all. So they will even deny that one exists, because they will do whatever they have to do to not have to believe in something that's logical, because apparently logic is patriarchal and white supremacist and
Well, of course,
whatever other stupid things that they want to call it. So these guys, they are just the pushback, unfortunately, and it's going to get worse too. That's the other thing. Like, these guys, they're just the new edge on the wedge that's being sort of put in there. You know, this divide and conquer thing that has been done against us is working. We're just seeing a little bit more of the divide coming now, and what it's going to do is there's now going to be a lot more people who are in the middle, who are seeing the extremes, but people are going to get dragged to the extremes, and unfortunately, it is the young that are being dragged to those extremes now. Right. You know, so you've got the extremists on the left, you know, who are going to be the soy munching, skirt wearing guys, versus these Nick Fuentes types, right? And that these guys are not going to be able to talk. That neither side can talk to us rationally now, because both sides are saying, you know, the guys on the right, so-called Fuentes, they're just looking at us and saying, well, we're just, you know, conservative neocons. Yeah, and the people on the left are calling us racist, fascist Nazis.
Yeah.
So we're now excluded from the conversation with these guys.
Yeah.
But that is a real issue, because we're the moderates.
And that's,
you know, we're the ones who can actually bring a little bit of sanity back.
Yeah.
But neither side will listen to us now.
Yeah, we really
this
are.
Was inevitable.
And you know, that's so true that you say that, and it's really like you talk about identitarian politics. It's really the identity politics on the right now, and so they are. And he's got a hell of a following. And so, like Owen Benjamin, the same thing, man. I mean, he's even a little harder core, I think, in some ways. But and I like Owen Benjamin. Like, I listen to him, and actually, I don't know if he's harder core. Actually, I think I think almost Nick is a little more bullheaded. I like Owen Benjamin. Like, I listen to him, and I do think. And some of the stuff, and he ever heard that, he'll never hear this, right? But if he ever did, he would then go after me, because I don't agree with him 100% on everything. But it's also because I don't know him 100%, right? It's like I don't fully, I don't have time to listen to each one of his streams enough to really, really know him. So I'm not going to judge him. I like Owen Benjamin, and I do think he's a smart guy, and he's a hell of a funny guy. So I do like him. But Nick, man, he is like, there's something about him that really is just starting to rub me the wrong. And I've been listening to his streams, and it's just kind of like, there's so many things he says I agree with, but then he'll slide in a few of these things where it's like, oh, that's why. Oh, you know, I get it now. I get it why you're, you know, so many people are like not. And what's a groiper? I mean, is that like a Jewish slur or something? What's a groiper? I don't even understand what that is.
Well, I'm not sure what the origin of that term is, but I know that it's a particular image of Pepe. So it's kind of like a new Honkler thing, but I haven't actually had time to sort of look into that. But it's based off the Pepe meme, but it's just another, you know, where Honkler is Pepe with the clown wig. You know, Honkler is, Groiper, I think, is just a white-pilled, as they call it, version of Pepe.
It says, Groiper refers to an exploitative illustration of Pepe the Frog resting his chin on interlinked hands, variations of which are commonly used as profile avatars among the alt-right and new right on Twitter. New right. And the alternative social media network service Wrongthink. Origin, the earliest known use of the word groiper on 4chan was, posted by Big Dog Groiper to the some Reddit board on February 28, 2015. The earliest known variation, I don't care about all that, spread. On 4chan, users replied to thread on poll. Groiper is a toad. He's a friend with Pepe. Okay, so basically, it's kind of a troll it's kind of basically a troll a little bit on the right or whatever, right?
And that is an issue too, you know, like 4chan and things like that, you know, that they come up with. Look, a lot of the people that are on there are just they're trolling. You know, I used to get on there occasionally and have a little bit of a look. I was just a passive observer, really, and a lot of the people on there were just saying things for fun. And there was the Clown World Discord that I got on there for a little while, and it's really hard to tell who actually believes the stuff that they're saying, who's saying it just to troll and have a little bit of fun, and who's saying it as a lefty trying to aggravate the people on the right to start a culture war. It became really impossible to tell who was trolling and who was serious.
Yeah. All right. Maybe we'll get back into this. Let's jump into this other one here, a new little segment on social justice annoyance warriors. It says, McDonald's franchise apologizes over offensive Halloween decorations. The Halloween stickers included spooky pumpkin spiders and a dark figure hanging from a tree. Well, of course, and they have to literally, we are living in such a sensitive world. I don't know if you can see my cursor up here. If I move it around, you can't. But right down here, the little tree down to the right, there, it blurred out. We can't even. They won't even show it on writing an article. It's like saying the N-word, man. You can't even say the N-word when referring to the N-word. You just got to say the N-word. It's like I'm saying right now because this video will get taken down if I say the actual word, which is so ridiculous.
Yes.
But they literally had to apologize because some butthurt overly, into themselves, self-aware, woke little juvenile millennial turd was like shocked that they would hang a black figure from a tree. Well, the whole tree is black. Everything in there is black and shadowed. It's Halloween. They're supposed to be they're spooky. It's supposed to be spooky. So of course it's going to be black. It's not. Anyway, just read the article. I'm sorry. A McDonald's in North Andover, Massachusetts recently came under fire when customers who were upset by a display of a seasonal Halloween sticker they deemed to be insensitive and possibly racist. On October 22nd, Eric Pocock and his friends, Pocock, man, that poor kid's last name. Pocock, man. No wonder he's a millennial turd with a name like that. And his friends stopped by McDonald's for a bite to eat. When they got to the register, Pocock noticed a design on the cashier stand that appeared to display some jack-o'-lanterns, black bats, and an eerie tree. Ooh. When Pocock looked closer, he noticed that there was what appeared to be a black rope dangling. The whole tree's black, goddammit! Dangling from the tree with a lifeless black figure hanging from it. Figure hanging from it. The image wasn't something he soon forgot. Well, of course not. So right there, and here, I could probably pull up the actual image if you guys want to see how terrible this image is, right? I'll pull up McDonald's black figure hanging. I bet you that'll pull it up for me. We'll go over here to images, and okay, yeah, there it is right there. So it's just, okay. So I don't know if you guys can, maybe I can click this open and get a better image of it. Nope, it'll probably, oh yeah, New York Post had enough balls to do it. Yeah, that's it right there. So apparently that's the racist, we're talking about hanging black people. Apparently that's what they're worried about. It says Halloween. My friend and I this is what he said, and this is how I imagine he sounds. My friends and I were completely shocked that a large establishment like McDonald's would put their decorations like these up for all to see. It's disgusting and sensitive, and I can't believe someone thought this was a good idea. Pocock told Food on Monday. On Twitter, a lot of people were also, well, of course, people were outraged on Twitter. What?
Oh,
that's crazy.
Unbelievable. Whoa, I can't believe that.
Man, which some said was suggestive of a lynching scene. Definitely not appropriate. Why are we associating Halloween with lynching? Obviously this is undoubtedly a display of such an act. Yes, it's because we're talking about there's also demons and there's skeletons and there's scary, boogaloo monsters. Ooh, I probably shouldn't say boogaloo. Monsters and all these other things, right? Because it's Halloween and it's supposed to be an eerie, scary season of death and demons. So that's why. Not because we're trying to secretly and subliminally insert and program people's mind into thinking that it's all about, we're talking about lynching black people.
And was it only black people that got hung?
Right. No, it wasn't. And they touch a very, very astute point you make. Later in this article, they touch on that. A few folks, however, saw that the black and orange sticker as being similar to any other Halloween-themed display of symbols, with symbols of death and gore. Halloween is associated with death in many number of horrible ways. It's a season of gory horror movies, after all. Some felt that such opinionated outrage should be kept private, while others said they felt that the public space, like McDonald's, has a responsibility not to display anything that could be seen as offensive to a variety of patrons. We need to bubble wrap our world, people. We can't have anything that's possibly offensive to anybody. We can't do that. We're living in the woke 2019. If it's possibly at all could be construed in a twisted, far-out way that it is offensive, you can't do it. Gosh, I don't understand why people don't understand this. Oh. Anyway, Sam Lewis said, that's the point. This is a public space, so what they do affects everyone. Not only was the tree designed in an area that was eye level for many young children, Pocock noted that because we're worried about the children, right, and what they see and what they think when it comes to a possible Halloween decoration that could maybe be construed under some crazy world that no kid in his right mind is ever going to think, oh, that's so inappropriate. They're hanging a black man from that banner. There's a black man that's a racist McDonald's. No kid in their world's going to do that. That's not okay. But it's okay. To have to be teaching kids transgender curriculum when they're 8 years old. It's okay to tell kids that they can be a man or a boy or a girl depending on whatever they feel like. It's okay to give our kids chemical treatments and chemical castrations and turn them into its that are gonna screw them up for their whole life. Turn them into what was that? It doesn't matter. The skit in Saturday Night Live. Pat, that's the one. Turn them into Pats, right? That's okay, but man, hanging a poster that has a scary, spooky image of a Halloween figure, that's not okay. Holy crap.
Oh, I do get a bit of a laugh, though, because they said in there, one of the horrors it was that the offending McDonald's was near a school, right? And you can just imagine it's a primary school, or junior school, or whatever you call it in the US. So you have, kids who are like 8 or 9, and they're in school, and their teacher's saying, well, now this is how you take the rubber appendage and you insert it into your bottom like this,
Right.
And they give you the demonstration, and then when she finishes and she takes off the glove and washes her hands and all that kind of stuff, and she says, okay, and now for a treat for successfully learning how to use this implement of adult entertainment, we're going to go to McDonald's for a treat. And then she walks in and she sees the cartoon and she goes, oh, that's disgusting. The children can see it.
Oh, it's so
beyond crazy, dude.
I know.
You gotta love it.
Pocock said that the restaurant staff member removed the decor when a news crew arrived at the restaurant. Chuck Lietz, how did the news crew know about this? I bet old Pocock got right on the phone with his virtuous outrage and was like, you need to just get down here right now. There's a really inappropriate poster on the McDonald's of a lynching. There's a lynching. And why are the left so preoccupied with seeing race everywhere they look? It would almost seem as though they are very racist. They always are looking for race in every way possible.
Yeah, of course.
Chuck,
it's all about dividing. Dividing people is power.
Yeah.
Divide and conquer.
Chuck Lietz, the owner and the operator of the North Andover McDonald's franchise, issued a public apology. Of course he did. After getting rid of the scene that was deemed as unsightly. We deeply regret that these decorations were on display, and as soon as we identified the inappropriate content, we immediately removed the decoration display, and somebody probably got fired. Leitz said, creating an environment that is welcoming and inclusive to all our guests and employees is critically important to us, and we apologize for any unintended offense that may have had on our community. Well, it didn't have it on your community. Let's get one thing straight right here. It didn't have it on your community. What it had it on was some weak-willed little virtuous outrage, outrage-addicted, snot-nosed kid who always got a trophy as a child, who was looking for something he could get some online notoriety and fame and get some and just signal to the world how virtuous he truly is and how woke he truly is. That's the only people it even offended. The people who are preoccupied with race and are in actuality the racists. Everybody else just didn't think two damn twits about it. They ordered their Big Mac, they sat down, they glanced at that thing, and they sat down. Nobody else gave a crap about it. The community was not offended. Oh.
No, and even if they are, as people have said ad hominem, so what? Be offended. I'm offended when I see an obese person sitting in McDonald's or KFC ramming stuff down their throat.
That's down their pie hole.
That's really offensive to me.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
You're a fat shamer. That's what you are. You're a fat shamer.
Well, I probably
You're
am.
a fat shaming son of a bitch. Jeez, man.
Indeed. But the thing is, there's no contract that I have signed with anybody anywhere that says that I don't have a right not to be offended.
Yeah.
It just, and I know, we've sort of gone over this so often. Everybody talks about it so often, but this is just the reality of it. How do these people think that it is legitimate to say that something is wrong because it offends them? Who cares?
Well, apparently you haven't got the memo. Apparently you didn't get this memo. You didn't get this memo either, right? That it says don't wear offensive Halloween costumes, right? So Al Sutton, Executive Director of the Office of Outreach and Education, talks about the harms of cultural appropriation. He also highlighted that the difference of the cultural appropriation versus cultural appreciation on Wednesday morning at the Elson S. Floyd Cultural Center. At the Cultural Center of all places. Of course. Oh, man, that's rich. As the end of October is drawing near, many students are considering what they should wear for their Halloween parties. They may be choosing between a prisoner, geisha, mental institution patient, gang member, sugar skull, religious figure, hula dancer, or painted on skin tone. However, students should avoid all of these choices and similar ones, as they are all blatant examples of cultural appropriation and discrimination.
That image that you showed of the rather amply apportioned dude sitting at his desk, pretty much everything that was in that image seems to be cultural appropriation. Like, what things there have come from his community? Like, it's the double standard that I find really annoying in this as well. Apart from just the absurdity of it. Like it's only cultural appropriation if one particular race does it.
Yeah. Here's the thing too on this. It's that it goes back to that whole Nick Fuentes thing, and you were talking about how this is designed by the left. It makes people that are very moderate, like myself, conservative, right-leaning, but in today's climate, moderate. It makes me more angry, and it causes me to split farther one way than the other. Instead of bringing us together, this kind of rhetoric, trying to get everyone woke so that we're having a better society, is by design. It's the ultimate in disinformation by design to push us farther away from one another and cause division and to find offenses where we shouldn't. Here's the thing that most of these people on the left and these woke people will say. They'll say, we need to be more loving. Right? They'll say, why can't we all need to just love? Why can't we all just get along? We need to love. Here's one thing about love that many people don't, when they're talking about love, they don't seem to think about. There's a verse in the Bible in 1 Corinthians that says, the love chapter, 1 Corinthians 13, right? Where it says, love isn't easily offended. Love doesn't keep a record of wrong. Love isn't easily offended.
Does not seek its own way. Either. There's another one it says in there.
What's that? Yeah, it doesn't seek its own way. Exactly. It does not seek its own way. It lays itself down. It is. So when we talk about being loving, really the moderate right is the most loving, because they're like, hey, to each their own, man. All right, you want to do that, it's fine. Don't shove it down my throat. But I'm not going to tell you can't do that or say that or be that way. To be how you want to be, man. That's fine. But just don't shove it down our throat or put it in an agenda and mind wash and you know what I'm saying? Yeah, brainwash, not mind wash. Same difference. You mean what I know. Brainwash everyone with this ideology. I keep saying ideology. It's like ideology, not ideology. To say it like it's two words. But anyways, it's like get along, man. Just okay, fine. You want to do that? It's fine. I'm not going to shove my way down your throat. But the left, who comes off as the most tolerant and loving and accepting, and they just want everyone to get along, they are the most unloving people. And one of the most clearest examples of it is that how easily offended they are about everything and how they look for offense. They look for offense.
Yes, of course I do. And again, this is all about dividing for the purposes of power. Yeah, it's a very nasty, cynical thing, and I really do think that when this thing does hit the fan, and I think we've taken a very big step now towards the fecal matter hitting the fan, it's not going to be a thing that the left are going to like.
Right.
I see so many people online saying, "Oh, you bring on the civil war, bring on the civil war," and I'm sort of saying to them, so. I really don't think that watching people that you love and that you care about getting shot, blown up, run over, stabbed, hacked, or starving to death or dying of preventable disease is as fun as it sounds.
Yeah.
But that's what the civil war is going to be.
Right.
I don't want to be a part of a civil war. I'm quite happy to try to work against the civil war. I just see it as being now inevitable. I think I'm what they call now a collapsitarian. I don't think that we could turn the ship around. I think this ship is already falling over the edge, and there's nothing we can do to stop it.
Yeah.
But I think the best that we can be doing is try to get as many people to moderate their opinions as we possibly can. I think that's the best that we can do. And as I saying before with the groupers, we're the old guard now, unfortunately. You know,
No,
I'm going to really keep an eye on this group thing because they are not the end of the fracturing of what you could call the right. Right? They are just the beginning of the pointy edge of the spear that's coming. I think it's going to get ugly from here. I could be wrong. I hope I'm wrong, but I
no.
suspect that we're in for some pretty bad times because I think that we're going to get coming out of them. We're going to get a group which is the right wing equivalent of Antifa, and that's where things are going to start really picking up. But again, I am a bit of a collapsitarian. I think the collapse is inevitable now. I'm a bit pessimistic about it.
Yeah. No, I think you're right. All right, let's take a quick 60-second little break here, and we were going to do it for DroneTek, but since he's not here yet, we're going to do a little promo for Rational. Rational,
Hey!
if anybody hasn't subscribed to Rational Wrong Thinks channel out there, and you're in the chat or you watch this later on, then please go look up Rational Wrong Things, subscribe to his channel. He's got some great videos and parodies. And what just happened there? Aw, snap. We lost him. Hang on here. That's weird. Try again to connect, right? Okay. We lost him. We're going to get him back, though, here real quick. And while we get him back, I'm going to go over to this right here. And you were going to watch a little Rational Wrong Things. So subscribe to him, and I'll get him back before the show's over. And I need a transition. There we go. Okay.
Excuse me, it's ma'am. It is ma'am.
Too much to dream, my legs are wobbly. I met a strange lady, she made me nervous. When I saw the board, you ran the pelvis. And I said, I believe you're right.
Sorry about that, guys. All right. Well, you know what? We actually didn't get Rational back in yet because I don't know. Maybe a tree hit his, brought his power lines down. He said they were looking at possibly having some disruptions there. So that's a possibility. Are you back?
Yeah, mate.
Yes, I can hear you. Oh, sweet. Well, good timing, man. Kind of good timing, but let's figure out here real quick how to get you back on the screen. You are still with us, I take it?
Yep, I can hear you.
Okay, well then let's get you back here to the Google Hangouts call. Maybe that's you right. No, that's not it. 1 second, everybody. Google Hangouts video call. Well, there he is. Oh, you're back. What happened there, man?
I have no idea.
I thought the power went out or something.
You were gone.
I was just gone, and you were too. It was a sad.
Yeah, so I just hang up and just re-click back into the link.
Okay, cool. So, anyways, let's see here what we got going on in chat. So I can do Control Z. We'll bring my chat up, and maybe not. Oh yeah, it will. But I think what happened is guest needs to be. Oh no, hang on a second. Guest 1 needs to be under my chat window. There it is, right there. So, we'll bring the chat up here, and I will, so I can kind of see it too. And then what am I needing to do here? Chat window needs to be on top of these two. There we go. Okay, nope, that's still not. Needs to be all the way up on top here. Boom. Okay, there we go. All right, so let's bring up a chat here and see what's going on in the chat room for a second. Oh, Mohammed, you broke it. Mohammed O Snack Bar is in the audience, you guys. That's cool. Knuckles in the knife. Sorry about dialing over his promo there, guys. That was too bad. That had to happen. Are you still moving? Yeah, you're moving. Okay. I didn't know if
Yeah, I'm still here, mate.
I didn't know if your screen froze. It says sub to rational sub M8 switching phones. Oh, look it, you got a sub, Rat. I got you a sub, man. That's pretty cool. Sweet. I would have.
Thank you very much.
I would have figured Mo would have had you in there by now, but I'm glad you didn't. Yeah. You never know, man. You just never know who's paying attention, who isn't. So you guys are on it. That's good. Anything? He's complaining about cultural appropriation in English. Native Americans have free health care and the lowest life expectancy. That's true, Jesse. Good point. Don't sit on the fence, Steve. You might get a picket. You might get a picket in the wrong place. I think I have link. What? Don't sit on the fence, Steve. What are we talking about here? I don't know what he meant by that. Oh, maybe is it because?
That was with the Fuentes thing. I think when we were talking about that comment was.
What's that?
Was made. You know, I think that was when we were talking about Nick Fuentes. That was when the comment was made about sitting on the fence.
Oh, really? Yeah. No, I'm not on the fence on him at all. I'm like. I think I like some of the stuff he says, but then other stuff I'm just like, oh man, it's a little too far for me. I guess that must be how leftists feel about some of the stuff the Democrats think. I don't know. I don't really feel like I'm on the fence on him. Subdirational. So you think I'm on the responding to Mo here, modus operandi. You think I'm on the fence? What? Explain it. Explain in the chat, my friend. I'm watching now. You have my attention. What am I on the fence about? Because I feel like I'm not on the fence. I feel like I'm pretty clear on what I like and what I don't like. But you tell me what you think I'm on the fence on. Maybe I'm misunderstanding. There is a delay, so I will give you time to respond. Fence sitter. I'm a fence sitter. That's right. Should we see if Mohammed Aloha Snack Bar is able to join us? I think I should send him the link here. I always don't know how to do this, man. It's like I click on this one here, right? And then how do I add somebody to it? I don't know how to add somebody to it. This is really, it discourages me when I don't understand what I'm doing when it comes to oh, maybe maybe add
I'm used to
somebody.
it now, dude. I never understand what I'm doing.
Aloha Mohammed. There it is. I'm going to send him the link. Okay, I invited him. We'll see if he joins. You've been invited. Mohammed Aloha Snack Bar. If you want to join, you can feel free to join. We will allow you in here. Add me to the chat. Add me to the chat. Right on top. I am telling you, Mohammed. I don't know when he's going to get in here, but I'm sure we'll know.
Yes, I'm sure we will.
Anyways, let's get back up to modus operandi. I wish I should find my number. Maybe we should do some call-ins. I could do my I could do my
yeah, that'd be fun.
Yeah, maybe we should do a call in here. I got to find out what my number is. I can't remember what it is. I bet you I could find it in my chat here or in my email. Going to do a quick little how am I going to do this now? I'm going to go to my Gmail and I'm in my SJG Gmail. And I'm going to do Google number maybe. Google number. We're loading it up here. What was my Hangouts number? Was it a Hangout number? What was it? Maybe I sent it to my other one. We'll try it. There it is right there.
I'm trying to find a comment that somebody made. Maybe they... Oh, no, here we go. Mark B said, people forget we're under a New Testament where the blood of Jesus paid for our sin. We don't have to keep to Old Testament law other than the Ten Commandments, but to love one another is the greatest command.
Right.
And I think that's one of the things with, and I agree with that. That seems a reasonable interpretation of Christianity. And the Groypers, they claim to be Christian, but they are absolutely not at all even trying to live to that type of an ideal of the concept of love. And that's where I think they are very much in league with the left. You know, they are just another version of Antifa. I don't think these guys are right-wing at all. Now, as I said before, I think they're just another manifestation of the left-wing identity politics. And I think one of the things that characterizes people like us who are sort of on the right or the and even some of the people on the left who are sort of the conservative and the centralist people, is we may not love everybody, but we will actually seek to find a middle ground and seek to find ways that we can get along and be sort of relatively harmonious.
Right.
I think that's just a fundamental sort of a tenet that we have. Like we understand that people are human, and we understand that they're flawed. And if we have any kind of a Christian upbringing with us at all, I think we all would understand that we are a hell of a long way from perfection. So we don't expect perfection from other people.
Right.
Whereas the left, if you're defining your own moral standard, and you say that, well, everything that I do is moral, then obviously you're morally perfect. But you don't really have that ability to empathize with other people who don't meet your moral perfection.
Right.
But the problem is, of course, if you're defining moral perfection as being whatever I do, that's really got nothing to do with morality. That's just you being a bit of an ass. There is absolutely no love in there.
Yeah. No, I'm sorry to cut you off, dude. Keep going.
No, you're right.
No, that's exactly. So modus operandi said fence sitting. You wanted to say conservative, but you said moderate. Choose a side. So maybe I'm not making myself clear on what I mean by moderate. I until we were talking today, I would have never considered myself a moderate. I am a conservative, but I am not a far right conservative that believes that we should only have European descent people in the country, and that anybody that is not from European descent is less than us. That is not what I believe in. I don't believe that's conservative. I believe you support the Constitution. I believe you believe in the Bill of Rights. I believe you treat your neighbors well, and I don't really give a crap if you're. I think we just got a whole bunch of people in our group here. So if you guys just add or joined us, you can speak. You can speak up. Went out tonight. I completely forgot about this. Thanks a lot, bro. Rational totally forgot. Don't admit that next time. He's like, went out tonight. Totally forgot about this, man. It's okay, dude. We forgive you. But I don't know who's in the call here. Oh, it looks like maybe all of them are in the call. Nope, you are in the video call. All right, well, join us if you want to, brother. If you're too tired, man, it's too late there, whatever. It's cool, but you are still welcome to join. Anyways, what I was basically trying to say there was that, and feel free to call in, 971-319-5322. I don't know how this works. It's been a while since I've done it, so we're probably going to hear them ringing in, people who do. But feel free to ring in at 971-319-5322. Anyway, I am not a moderate. I am a conservative. But I'm now like under the Groyper and under this Nick Fuentes thing and all this other stuff that he's coming out. I don't agree with that. So you call me what you want to call me, but I don't agree with that hardcore far rightness. I don't buy into that. I don't believe that. So that's who I am. I hope that makes sense. I mean, and here's the other thing. I will pick a side, but I'm also a human being that when I get new information on something, I'm going to reserve the right to be able to tweak what I say and what I believe. I don't have it all figured out right now. I don't have all my ideology completely, nailed down. I think I do, but if I'm a good human being that is trying to grow and understand, there's certain things that'll never change about what I think and believe, right? I don't believe you kill human life. I don't believe a man can be a woman. These are some of the things I don't believe that there is no such thing as truth, right? That we can go down this postmodern path and this intersectionality where everyone's a victim. I don't believe in any of that. That's never going to change in me. But there's certain things that, and I don't even know what to tell you they are right now, but there's going to be certain things that as I get more information, my opinion on stuff is, I reserve the right to let it evolve. Does that make sense? Yes, no, maybe.
Yeah, that makes perfect sense to me. I understand that. I mean, I know you're speaking to MO, but yes, that makes perfect sense. I mean, I think,
and I appreciate the comment, MO. I'm not trying to, go off on you at all. I appreciate that what you're saying, and hey, I'm just trying to respond to you the best I can. So, anyways, go ahead.
Yeah, I think there's a difference between having your sort of base principles that you operate on, which I think are things that are going to be reasonably consistent and not really change. But then there's going to be the things that you extrapolate out from those core principles, and those things are subject to modification quite easily. Right. So that I think that's a reasonable way to be. You don't want to be. It's sort of that thing about being shifting sand or being stuck in the mud. You want to be somewhere between the two.
Yeah.
you want to have a reasonably consistent worldview that you adhere to. So you want to have certain core principles that you adhere to. So like, for example, mine are similar to yours. I say that there is absolute truth because it's absurd to claim that it's absolutely true that there's no absolute truth. That's a contradiction that can't be true, right? So that's just a basic philosophical premise I adhere to. I say that it is wrong under all circumstances to kill an innocent person.
Yeah, right.
Whether that person's in the uterus or not, it's wrong to kill an innocent person at all times. So there's certain core principles that I have, and then what arises from those things, in the day-to-day kind of messy, ugly world that we live in, there are going to be things that you're going to look at, and you're going to have to modify your understanding of how that relates to your core principle. But the core principle itself doesn't change. Does that make sense?
Yeah. Yep. J Orcs said that isn't far right either. The alt-right feeds into this misconception of the left and right spectrum. Those idiots embrace socialist collective values, therefore not right-wing, really. Yeah,
exactly.
Exactly. Very well said. Very good point. Yeah. And so, I mean, when I had never, until Rational, it's really Rational's fault because he's like, we're more the moderates. You just got me in trouble on my channel. I probably lost 10 subscribers thanks to you, Rational. And you gained 1. So that did you just disappear on me again? What happened to you?
No, I'm still here. Okay. Oh no,
you went dark.
Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. You went dark for a minute. So.
Oh, that's why.
Oh, look at that, man! Look who we have. It's Aloha Snack Bar, man. Well, welcome, Mohammed.
Habibi.
How are you?
Habibi.
Yes.
I'm okay, my friend. How are you?
You know what? I'm doing okay, man. We're glad to have you. We're glad to have you in the chat today. You've been listening?
A little bit, yes.
Okay.
I listen to you.
Yes.
It's okay. What are you talking about right now?
I don't know what we're talking about. I'm going to respond right now to modus operandi. I'm sorry. The call-in doesn't work. That number was old. I don't know why it's not working. Let me dial it up myself real quick, and see what's up. I haven't used it forever, so maybe it expired on me. I don't really know.
What, this Google's number?
Yeah, it's a Google number, I guess. Yeah. 5322. Let's hear
it did work. I remember listening to you talk to Gator on it.
It worked at one day. That was like a day after I'd done it, though.
Okay.
Maybe. Oh wait. Maybe it's because I need to have. Oh, it's probably because it's going to my. You know what? Is that going to my? Oh, I know why. Because I'm not signed in under my. Google Hangouts for that one there. So that's probably why right there. But anyways, I will.
I will be right back. Give me 1 second.
Okay, I'll give you 1 second. Let me see if I can get that corrected real quick. We don't have that many people in the chat. Oh, look at my phone. It's ringing now. It's my wife, though. So hang on a second, guys. I'm going to take this real quick.
Okay. So just, Jazels, I know we've already kind of covered this, but the idea of the socialist and collectivist values of the groupers and therefore not being on the right, yeah, that is exactly my contention. That is why I say that as far as I'm concerned, Islam is just a fundamentally left-wing thing. There's no valid way that I can see that you can argue for collectivist ideology being a right-wing thing when the right is primarily about the individual and about individual liberty. It's not about groupthink. It's the antithesis of that. And I'm not sure why it is. Well, actually, no, I am sure of why it is, but why it is that intellectuals, so-called, would argue that Nazism is on the right, and it's solely because they just don't want to admit that it's actually just another version of their left-wing ideology. Like left-wing ideology last century killed enough people. I think it was over 100 million people. They don't want to add Nazism and fascism to it. So, they just palm it off onto the right. But nobody who actually thinks about politics in any meaningful sense is going to look at that and go, oh, yeah, I can see that. These people are on the right because they've got white skin. No, they're exactly the same as the people on the left. Like social justice, is that a right-wing thing or a left-wing thing? In Germany in the 1930s, Adolf Hitler and his mates were calling for social justice against a privileged race of people, which was the Jews. But now you have people on the left calling for social justice against a privileged race that is white people. So is it a right wing or a left wing thing? It's one or the other. It can't be both, depending on who is the victim and who's the perpetrator. That's not how these things work. That's not how political theory works. It's not a subjective thing like that.
Stupid white people. Stupid white people.
Yes, everything is fault of white people.
These white people, I swear for you, my friend, they do nothing but, create, colonies and things of nature.
Wait a second.
That's not right.
Why have we let this guy in our chat when we already have enough white guilt? We don't need you trying to increase that white guilt upon us.
Listen, my friend, please, can I borrow some of your white privilege?
Yes, you may. Oh,
Thank you, my
may.
friend.
Hey, I want to really quickly shout out to Modus Operandi. Modus, I do not know. I don't know. I'll get the number figured out. I mean, I can't work on it right now because I can't figure it out because I think I have to sign out. I don't know what the deal is. We will get the number figured out for next time for Shizzle My Nizzles. So we'll do some call-ins. But anyways, Modus Operandi, I hope I make sense of what I say to you. You've been a long-time listener, watcher, whatever. And so we love you. I hope it
Please,
it makes
please
sense what I
stop
said.
sitting on fence. Stop sitting on the fence.
I like the fence. I like the fence. It feels good.
Do you use lube?
I do. I've been using coconut oil.
Coconut oil.
It's
Yes, coconut oil is very good. Yes,
it's
I
less
agree.
sticky. It's less sticky.
Well, not only that, but it just tastes good too. Yes,
It does taste. The dogs love it. I mean,
they do. I went. I switched from peanut butter to coconut butter. Big change. Yes. There's less cleanup. First of all, big deal, right?
Oh dear.
Oh man, that's so true, man. So true.
It is. It is.
It is. It is.
I swear for you.
It is.
What? Hey, did you guys talk about guy that did win series of world not go to White House? You guys talk about this yet?
Win series of what and not go to the White? You mean the World Series? Is that what you were trying to say in your broken English?
Yes. Man from team of Washington named Nationals. Ironically enough, is not going to be going to a White House because of win.
Oh, is it because of Donald Trump? He has TDS.
Yes. This is, but he not say this, but he say it by not going, right?
Right.
This is true fact. It shows that even pussies can be winners, right? Yes.
This is true, man. This is very. But see, he's showing the world how woke he is and virtuous he is by not being around that evil son of a bitch, Donald Trump. Who is I'm surprised though with your national descent and how he barred your relatives from coming to this country that wanted to blow us up. Not all of your relatives, but I would assume some of your distant relatives that would want to blow us up. You know how he barred those guys. I would assume that you wouldn't like the guy, but you sound Aloha. You sound as though you support Mr. Trump. Is this true?
I do. Yes, because we do not come to country for people to blow us up. If we want that, we stay where we were from, yes?
Yes. This is true.
So, sorry, Cousin Abdul and Cousin... You are not coming here. Sucks to be you. You know?
This is very, very true. Hey, so I I got you guys both on the line here. And we can get some of thoughts from Mohammed and then also from Rational. But I wasn't going to touch on we touched on the identitarian right. Here's some questions I have on this whole. I know we've heard so much about this impeachment. It probably is coming out of our brains in gray matter at this point, right? But I have some questions for you guys here. And I want to hear your thoughts, both. How was it a quid pro quo? You know, this whole thing with the impeachment. This whole fucking friggity frack show on the quid pro quo is that there was Donald Trump we know the story. Donald Trump was trying to get the Ukrainian president to, do him some favors. Which one camera am I at? That one over there. Okay. So, but I have a question here. How is it a quid pro quo when we gave him the money, but we have not actually received any information on Biden yet? So there has not been a quid pro quo, but we're still saying it's a quid pro quo. Can somebody explain that to me? That's one of my first questions.
Mohammed, would you like to go?
Mohammed.
So I
Yes.
think
Okay,
well,
Rashid.
I'll just jump in.
Okay, go. We'll let Mohammed collect his thoughts. He's
Yeah, so I think that I think we all know why the left and the media are claiming it's a quid pro quo, and that's because it's the only thing they've got to go on. I mean, this is just grasping at straws, from as far as I can tell. There's obviously there's nothing in there. You know, we've all been able to see the transcript, and I think what they're worried about is if someone does happen to rip the rather big scab off this rather nasty festering wound of DNC and probably rhino corruption, let's be honest, because from what I understand, it wasn't just Hunter Biden. You know, it wasn't just his son that was getting paid large amounts of money by foreign governments. I believe, was it John Kerry? Did he have a son or someone who was also getting a large amount of money from a foreign government for nothing other than being the child of a senator in the US? So I think, I mean, maybe this is just me being cynical, and it's a very simplistic analysis to some degree, I will admit, but it just seems to me that these people are extremely worried that if Biden falls for the grotesque and obvious and blatant corruption, people are going to start looking at, say, like the Clintons. How did they manage to be worth more money than they've ever earned? Nancy Pelosi, how is she worth more money than she's ever earned? Why are their children getting paid large amounts of money for nothing other than being the child of someone who's in politics? I really do think that's what this is. That's how it looks anyway, from my perspective, because there's no valid claim of a quid pro quo at all that I can see. And the guy who made the claim is someone who had worked with Adam Schiff. He worked with the FBI. He was appointed by Obama.
Yeah, he was a DNC operative. Yeah.
Yeah. So the whole thing is just so pathetic and flimsy that even blind people can see it.
Yeah, for sure. What about you, Aloha Mohammed Snackbar? Do you have any thoughts on this too, as Rational just touched on?
Did they hold on? Did they say who the whistleblower was finally? Is that what he's saying?
Yeah. You didn't catch that? You haven't been up on the last week. So yeah, check this out. Last week, this is great. Aloha Mohammed Snackbar is showing that he is not completely wrapped up in the news cycle, which I can appreciate. I can appreciate. He has to take care of his goats, right? He has to manage his 7
and his 4 wives.
7. I think he's up to 7 wives now. He's got to manage.
7 wives.
That's a lot of freaking. That's one a day. You got to manage. You know, he's got to do that. He's got to make sure he's scrubbing his computer from any kiddie porn. There's a lot.
Yes, I am. Yes, I do that daily.
There's a lot that he has to do. He doesn't have a chance to keep up on some of this stuff. So we will enlighten him. Yes. The I forget his name. It's something Caramello or something like the candy bar. Caramello.
Yeah.
Ooh,
that's it.
Yeah. Okay.
And he actually is a DNC operative. He actually has worked closely with Schiff and some of Schiff's aides, and he worked in the Obama White House. He was an aide or a staffer in the Obama White House, and he is a dyed-in-the-wool leftist. And he is the one who came out, and here's the other thing that just came out on Friday. Brennan, right? He actually came out and praised the deep state. So we went from not having a deep state, from it being a conspiratorial, a figment of the conspiratorial right, that there was even a thing called the deep state, swinging all the way over to Brennan coming out and saying that he thinks that he's thankful we have a deep state and we have CIA and DNC operatives that are exposing and that are bringing balance to the powers of the executive branch and of the president. So he's actually came out and confirmed that there is a deep state and he likes it. Yeah. So,
wait, hold on. So these are the same people that were basically demonizing Project Veritas for exposing all these left-wing politicians.
Bingo.
And all of a sudden now it's okay because it's their guys doing it, right?
Bingo.
Yep.
You nailed it on the exactly right.
Oh, this is we're going to take you off of all social media. We do not think that what you are doing is okay because you are blowing whistle on assholes that are on our side. So not cool, bro.
You know what? I do not believe this whole study that was done by like Stefan Molyneux and some of these other people that say that the many of the Islamic faith have actually inbred and their IQ is lower. I'm not saying that. Stefan Molyneux said that. I am
It is
really
true.
with you.
It is true.
I don't believe it. With as sharp as you are, I mean, there's like you're sharp as a spoon when it comes to some of these things, and I don't.
I'm first generation, my friend. Please. We tried very hard in my family not to have sex with cousins. It was a big deal.
Oh, this is too good, man. This is. I'm really hoping that the YouTube algorithm is not listening to us because this is not going to fly with them. Oh,
Well,
man.
it is factual. You know, this was big deal in for Jewish people as well. You understand this, right? Right, because they were so little. That's why it's a very big deal for them to make sure that they vet anybody and make sure that they have no bloodline, family, things of this nature. But with our people, they don't care. You know, it's la 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 la, bang bang bang. You know, that's it.
Well, you may not have heard this then also on this whole impeachment thing, since we're enlightening you right now, Aloha. Did you hear that the Republicans in the behind closed door meeting, which is insane in and of itself, right? We can't, like I touched on this last week, we can't believe the words that are coming out of their mouth when there's all the cameras in the actual, Senate, committee hearing rooms and on congressional hearings where we actually can watch it. And you have Adam Schiff coming out and saying the things that he said, right? That was completely lies and twisted. But now, behind closed doors, they've taken everything behind closed doors because they were getting their asses handed to them so much in public, in the public forum. So now, Adam Schiff has made a rule that Republicans, I don't know if you heard this or not, you probably didn't, Republicans are not allowed to ask questions to the witnesses on these congressional hearings, these closed doors, private. Did you hear about that? The Republicans?
Yeah. Again, same people that were all upset about closed door, shit, and the media should be allowed to be in here when Trump is having these closed door meetings. Now all of a sudden, it is we are going to do closed doors because, we suck. We don't want the people to see we suck. Trump, he does closed door because he doesn't want, people to know what is going on.
For obvious reasons, because of the leaks and because of the twisting of what he says. And that's the other thing they said, well, why did he put it in a vault right after this conversation? He locked up that conversation. Because he knew that there was a leaker and that they were going to leak it and it was going to get spun and twisted. So he immediately locked it down. And I think he could have been playing 4D chess on that one and literally thinking, I'm going to lock this up. They're going to lose their minds. They're going to make all these accusations that I said all these bad things. They're going to go on record, get everybody spun up that I was doing this quid pro quo with the Ukrainian guy. And when they've got all spun up and they ask for the records, they're going to think I'm not going to give them to them. And then I'm going to release them and it's going to show everybody that there was nothing done that was wrong and it's mud on their face. But then they have a magical spin power that they were like, we did that, right? He did that. And then they're like, well, that doesn't prove anything. We have second and third hand information that says bad things were said on that.
I have first, second, all the way up to 32 second-hand information about the Democrats. Now, this is public. Yeah. Somebody better call me because, there needs to be an investigation into things as what's going on in these private.
You've heard.
Here.
Is that from cousins and whatnot in like the CIA?
Yes.
And whatnot?
Yes. Oh. First of all, I heard that they are having private circle jerks. This is not a lie. Okay. I know they're doing this.
I think they're having public circle jerks now.
No, this
don't
is
even try to hide
graphic.
it anymore.
These are graphic ones, my friend. Please.
Fair enough.
They play biscuit. They do, I swear.
Oh no.
Anyways, but Adam Schiff touched me in my private place. Please call me.
Okay, so here another question I have about
can
this.
Can I just jump in
yes,
there and
may.
say something? I actually think that there might be something valid to the idea of Donald Trump deliberately putting the transcript away immediately, because there would have only been a very small number of people, maybe only one or two people, who had any knowledge of what had actually transpired in that phone call in the US. Right? I'm assuming there wouldn't have been hundreds of people listening in on this private call. So it would have been a situation where if there was a leak about anything supposedly said, that Donald Trump could then have, basically whittled down the number of people who are potentially leaking like a sieve that are close to him to maybe the one or two people who possibly would have known anything at all about what had occurred in that phone call.
Yeah.
So it is actually quite valid that maybe it was a deliberate ploy just to sort of smoke out a rat. I mean, it might not have been. It might have just been just a bonus.
Right.
But I suspect there probably could have been something in that. It certainly does appear to have worked that way anyway, because this guy seems to have been linked into people who are pretty close to Donald Trump, as I understand it.
Right. Yeah. No, I think I absolutely think that's kind of spot on. I just find it so hilarious that we're still even talking about this, and it really does come down to the fact that they know they can't beat Trump one-on-one in an election in 2020, so they're doing every single thing they can to smear him, to smear the right, and to put asterisks next to his name when it comes to these things, because they absolutely know they can't beat him in 2020. By the way. Go ahead, Mohammed.
Well, the thing that these people do not understand, they've been doing this literally for 4 years almost now, yes?
Yes.
Right? Okay. They're so stupid, right? Because in 4 years, okay, like, listen, if I was a Democrat and they've been trying for 4 years to get Donald Trump out of office and they can't do it, I would automatically be a Republican. These assholes can't get any work done. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yes.
I mean, let's be honest. I mean, if you can't even do this, no, you cannot even do anything for me. I am Republican now.
So, guys,
think about it.
If Donald Trump is as bad as what they are saying he is, they should have had him impeached and out of office and in jail about 700 times by now, and it hasn't yet worked for them once. You know, they're like that bloody what was it, the thing that used to chase the Roadrunner. You know, he was always getting the new Acme.
Yeah, right. Can you at least say it for me?
Going to throw a shrimp on the Barbie.
There we go. I'm pretty sure